Why do we sit here being silent, watching our leaders turn into tyrants? Have they forgotten which side they're fighting for? Checks and balances set aside and rule of laws, youth and ours, and Constitution openly ignored. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Is it time for right and left to join a greater cause? Man, I'm not okay. The rich claim to be victimized just to attack the marginalized. Is 1% really worth more than all the sick and poor? Always preaching about fellowship while planning their dictatorship. Now we've seen how all of this plays out before. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call. Man, I'm not okay. Ever wonder all the mystery? Why they whitewash our history? Keep dividing is their plan. All in all, such a scam. Algorithm very sly, only used to spread the lies. Politicians know well, hate is simple to upsell. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call.
We are not okay. America is not okay, and we all know that. Former Congressman Joe Walsh, this is The Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Let's figure out how to get okay together. Hey there, Monday. Hope you all are doing well. I had a conversation over the weekend with a fellow never Trumper, a fellow principled conservative who cannot and has not supported Donald Trump. And we had a conversation yesterday, and he's convinced that when Trump leaves the scene, and by the way, I told him I'm not convinced Trump's leaving the scene. I'm not convinced Trump won't try to run for a third term. I'm not convinced Donald Trump will ever leave the White House after the 2028 election. But that aside, this friend of mine is convinced that post-Trump, the Republican Party will begin to make its way back to what it was before Trump. Once Trump's gone, he said, the powerful, charismatic, bullshitting demagogue cult figure that Trump is, he said, once that's gone, Joe, you've got all these conservatives that have been homeless for the last 8 to 10 years. They're all coming back, and there's a great chance they can take back over the Republican Party. And the days of Ronald Reagan and John McCain and Mitt Romney, happy days are here again. I told him I thought he was smoking something. Ain't no way, I told him, that Republican Party's coming back. Even post-Trump. I mean, this party, think about it right now. The Republican Party right now is more Donald Trump's party than it's ever been. He has a tighter lock on this party now than he did 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 8 years ago. He owns this party. And even if he doesn't run again, even if he leaves the White House, it's still going to be his party. He will appoint his successor. As long as he's alive, he's the kingmaker. And the other point I made was this MAGA, this thing called Trumpism, that is the Republican Party now. It's metastasized beyond Trump. We had this conversation yesterday. The same weekend that Bill Cassidy, Louisiana senator, got demolished in his Republican Party primary. Trump declared war on Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy, endorsed the other Republican in the primary, and it wasn't close. Cassidy got destroyed. You need more evidence that this is Trump's party? Keith, I don't know if we've got a headline on Bill Cassidy's defeat. Thank you, sir. Bill Cassidy, who got demolished in the Republican primary over the weekend down in Louisiana, supposedly threw some shade at Trump. He lost and he accepted the loss. And when you lose an election, doggone it, you don't claim it was stolen. There's Bill Cassidy throwing a little bit of shade at Donald Trump. Thanks, Keith. Look, this is just the latest piece of evidence that the Republican Party is Trump's party. And all you Republicans, former Republicans, conservatives, sitting on the sidelines, standing on the sidelines, you've left the party, you're still in the party, but there's no place for you in the party, but you're all just hoping and praying that Republican Party you knew of is coming back. It ain't. Trump owns this party now, today, this Monday, more than he did at the height, the peak of his popularity. There's a big primary in Kentucky tomorrow. Thomas Massie, who Trump has declared war on, fully endorsed Massie's opponent. We'll see what happens in Kentucky. That race shouldn't be close. Massie should win. He's hugely popular in that district. He's been there forever. Heck, Massie and I served in Congress together. By the way, Bill Cassidy and I served in Congress together as well. Massie's primary tomorrow in Kentucky shouldn't be close, but it will be close. In fact, Massie may lose. Why? Because this is Donald Trump's party. And all you Nikki Haley's out there, wake the fuck up. You better realize that. Life's short. I'm old. It ain't coming back. Here's the other thing about Cassidy, though. Bill Cassidy deserved to lose. He's a coward. He tried to play it both ways with Donald Trump. You can't play it both ways with Donald Trump. You either have to full on oppose him if you're a Republican. If you are a Republican, you've either got to full on or oppose him, or you've got to get down on your knees and full on worship him. Bill Cassidy did neither. Bill Cassidy tried to have it both ways with Trump. Remember, he was one of the senators back in the day who voted to convict Trump. And he got the full wrath of Donald Trump rained on him. So what'd Cassidy do after that? He tried to appease Trump. He tried to make nice with Trump. I mean, think about that. He votes to convict Trump. He knows Trump is unfit. And yet, because Bill Cassidy, my former colleague, wants to get reelected as a Republican, he tries to work his way back into Trump's good graces these past 4 to 5 years. Hell, Bill Cassidy is a physician. He's a doctor. And he abandoned his oath as a physician and even voted to approve RFK Jr.'s nomination to be in charge of the public health of this country. You talk about selling your soul. Bill Cassidy did that to try to appease Donald Trump. You can't do that. Nikki Haley tried to do that. Chris Christie for a while tried to do that. You know, you just kind of sort of hug Donald Trump. You just kind of sort of throw him his flowers every now and then you criticize him every now and then. That doesn't work. That doesn't work with any Republican voter. You're either with him or you're not. And here's the thing about Bill Cassidy, as well as people like Nikki Haley and Mitt Romney and Chris Christie and Mike Pence. All of these kind of sort of worshiping Trump Republicans, they all know deep down Donald Trump is manifestly unfit. Paul Ryan is in this camp. All these careful, cautious Republicans who can't quite bring themselves to be full-on never-Trumpers, but they can't just bring themselves to be down on their knees, full-on prostrating themselves in front of Trump like so many other Republicans do. And so they occupy this I'm sort of pregnant land with Trump. You can't kind of sort of be pregnant with Trump. You're either pregnant or you ain't. You either fucking love Trump or you fucking oppose him with all your might. Those are the only two roads. And the Nikki Haleys of the world, the Bill Cassidys of the world have never understood that. And so they pay a big political price. I mean, they pay a big political price because it's Trump's party and he owns the base of the party. It's a MAGA party. And Nikki Haley, Bill Cassidy, Mike Pence, all the rest, they alienate Trump's base if they don't full-on prostrate themselves in front of Trump. And Bill Cassidy could never do that. But Bill Cassidy also did not have the courage to do and say what he really believed about Trump. Bill Cassidy believes that Donald Trump is unfit. Bill Cassidy knows Trump is a unique threat to our democracy and the rule of law. Bill Cassidy knows that. But he never had the courage to say that publicly. Again, it just reminds me of Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley knows Trump is unfit. Nikki Haley knows Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy and the rule of law, but she does not have the courage to say that publicly. And so it's crazy because Nikki Haley's done as a Republican. Bill Cassidy's done as a Republican. Because neither Haley or Cassidy will give Donald Trump his big old full-on bear hug every day. So they're done as a Republican. As Republicans, they might as well then just speak their truth. Their career as Republicans are over. Bill Cassidy's career as a Republican was over the day he voted to convict Donald Trump. He might as well just have stayed true to his convictions and been a never-Trumper no matter what. He was done as a Republican. He might as well have been done with dignity and done with courage. Cassidy deserved to lose. If you can't speak truth to what Donald Trump is, you deserve to lose. And Bill Cassidy deserves to lose. And by the way, John Fetterman, topic number 2 this morning. I don't know what John Fetterman deserves, but he does not deserve to ever win a Democratic primary again. And I know I go back and forth on Fetterman because I think the Democratic Party should be a big enough tent, I've always said, for a Joe Walsh and a Zoran Mamdani, for a John Fetterman and a Zoran Mamdani. John Fetterman, who votes 93% of the time with the Democratic Party. But see, here's the thing with Fetterman. Fetterman goes out of his way to suck up to Donald Trump. John Fetterman, Democratic senator from Pennsylvania, goes out of his way to praise Trump, to take Trump's side. He does it all the time. You do that, I don't give a damn how often you vote with the Democratic Party. If you sing as a Democrat, if you sing the praises of Donald Trump, you don't deserve to win a Democratic primary, and you won't. Fetterman does it on purpose. I mean, last week, think about this. Last week, Fetterman rightly said that the base of the Democratic Party, the far left base of the Democratic Party, is increasingly anti-American. Fetterman's right. As a newbie Democrat, I got the same fucking concern. The far left of this party is becoming increasingly anti-American. But how can you say that? How can you rightly say the far left in this country is increasingly anti-American, and you can't in the same breath say, but the far right in this country is increasingly un-American? How can you not say both of those things in the same breath? Because both of those things are true. And if you don't know the difference between anti-American and un-American, Google it. Learn the difference. It's an important difference. The far left in this country is increasingly anti-American. They are increasingly hating on America, taking shots at America, not supporting what America is and stands for. But Donald Trump, you can't find a more un-American public figure in the world today than Donald Trump. Everything Donald Trump stands for is un-American, is opposed to what America is. Donald Trump is a strongman, a dictator, a fascist. That's un-American. Donald Trump does not believe in a free press and attacks the free press every day. That's un-American. Donald Trump doesn't believe in free speech and tries to shut up, silence, and prosecute his political opponents who speak out against him. That's un-American. Donald Trump doesn't believe in the basic American notion of pluralism. All kinds, all colors, all shapes, all creeds can live here. Trump doesn't believe in that. That's un-American. But my point with Fetterman is Fetterman doesn't miss an opportunity to take a shot at the Democratic Party. Fetterman doesn't miss an opportunity to sing Donald Trump's praises. Fetterman was on some show over the weekend. I've got the clip here. It may be Fox News, talking about Trump's ballroom. Keith, can you play that?
Works out. So that's why I blame Iran at these circumstances. I certainly don't blame America to hold this regime accountable. And like the reflecting pool in the ballroom, I don't care about those things. I think it's entirely appropriate. I mean, I think I've seen a picture, assuming that it's not AI. So far the reflecting pool looks good. But if that's $13 million, that's small.
Yeah.
I think President Obama correctly, he invested $34 million to make some upgrades. I mean, America's turning 50 years old. Why wouldn't we want to make sure everything looking great?
Right.
And now we do need a ballroom. We do. I mean,
Stop, Keith. Stop, Keith. Fetterman making the case for Trump's ballroom. We need the ballroom. We turned 250 this summer. We need nice things. We need a ballroom. I'm not letting go of this ballroom issue. Fuck no, John Fetterman. Donald Trump does not have the legal authority to build the ballroom. I mean, that should matter. I know we're 17, 18 months in to an utterly lawless presidency, but gosh damn it, it should still matter that Donald Trump does not have the legal authority to build a ballroom. He did not have the legal authority to tear down the East Wing. That matters. There's a Democratic senator just saying we need the ballroom, not even addressing the fact that Trump doesn't have the legal authority to build a ballroom. I mean, it's tied up into the courts right now. I don't know what the courts are going to decide, but it's tied up in the courts right now. And let's hope the courts hold firm. Trump cannot build that ballroom. The whole issue of the ballroom should stop and start there, as it should with the thousands of things Trump has done these past 18 months that he does not have the constitutional or legal authority to do. The fact that that doesn't matter to a United States senator, the fact that that doesn't matter to so many people. Oh, a ballroom, excuse me. He doesn't have the legal power to build it. Doesn't that still matter? The rule of law, does not that still matter? But again, on Fetterman, what the fuck? He never misses an opportunity to side with Trump. I'm a Democrat now 11 months. When I say that I believe Trump is an existential threat to every founding principle of this country, I mean it. And because I believe that, there's no freaking way on God's green earth I'm praising Donald Trump for anything. He's everything our founders feared. He can't build a ballroom. And by the way, we don't do fucking ballrooms, John Fetterman, in America. This ballroom, John, is going to be 3.5 times the size of the White House. It's going to be a fucking palace. We don't do palaces in America. We don't have kings in America. We don't do palaces in America. Our founders, our founding generations wanted the White House and the grounds of the White House to reflect this country, to be as open and as egalitarian and as everyday as possible. They didn't want the White House to be a palace. Trump wants the White House to be a palace. And by the way, John Fetterman, it ain't his house. It's our house. The White House is our house. And I'm telling you what, if the Democrats don't stand firm and promise and pledge to tear down, demolish whatever Trump builds, whatever state that fucking ballroom might be in. Democrats must pledge that it's all coming down. And if it's a hole in the ground in 28, that hole in the ground's going to be filled, and that east wing is going to be rebuilt. I don't care what John Fetterman says. Final thing I wanted to get off my chest this Monday, and I do hope you all had a good weekend. I did relax a whole bunch this weekend. Let me say it like this. I understand that Donald Trump is a pathological liar, right? I talk about this all the time because it matters. Gosh darn it, it should matter that we have a president who lies as he breathes. And I understand that Donald Trump originated the lie, the stolen election lie, the 2020 stolen election lie. I understand that Trump originated that lie. And I understand completely that Donald Trump is the biggest sore loser in American history, maybe in all of human history. I get that. I understand that. But doggone it, Trump has turned my former party into a party of liars and sore losers. Trump's responsible for starting that dangerous, undemocratic lie about a stolen election, because Trump couldn't handle losing. But every damn Republican who has echoed that lie, who has internalized that lie, who believes that lie, who spreads that lie, is every bit as big of a liar and a sore loser as Donald Trump is. It just pains me, my former party. It just pains me. One of America's two major political parties has become a party of liars and sore losers, a party where 80% of Republicans believe the 2020 election was stolen. They cannot accept the results of an American election. This came home to me again yesterday. Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's personal lawyer, who also happens to be the acting attorney general of these United States, was on Fox News yesterday and was asked about the 2020 election. Keith?
All right, so you believe there will be, at some point, a definitive answer to whether or not the 2020 election was stolen?
I'm not going to promise there's going to be a definitive answer. That wouldn't be fair to you or anybody else, but we are looking at it, and we're hoping to get one.
Todd Blanche, we appreciate your time and your
Thanks,
work.
Keith.
Of course, our audience.
First off, the question from Maria there, 6 years later, will we ever get a definitive answer on the 2020 election? Attorney General Blanche, will we ever get a definitive answer on who won the 2020 election? A Fox News talking head is asking that question. We've got a whole cable news network that's a network of sore losers, liars and sore losers. Will we ever get a definitive answer? She asks. And the Attorney General, and forget about acting Attorney General, Donald Trump's personal lawyer is the Attorney General and will remain the Attorney General. The Attorney General of the United States, whose job it is to defend the law, to defend the rule of law, to abide by the Constitution and the rule of law. He's America's lawyer. Top law enforcement officer in this country, Todd Blanche, cannot, will not say Joe Biden won the 2020 election. He's not a Republican senator. He's not a Republican politician. He's not a Republican congressman. He's the Attorney General of the United States. And yesterday, almost 6 years after Joe Biden beat Donald Trump, yesterday, the Attorney General cannot and will not say who won the 2020 election. In fact, he's out there trying to get to the bottom of it, trying to get that definitive answer. I mean this when I say this. I was a Republican almost my entire adult life. I ran for Congress as a Republican. I became a Republican member of Congress. I ran for president in 2019, 2020, tried to challenge Donald Trump. I ran as a Republican. I left the Republican Party 6 years ago. I don't have fun with this. This is not funny to me. This is not humorous to me. This pains me. My former political party is now fully a party of liars and sore losers. And they should be called liars and sore losers. Every single Republican who echoes Trump's lie. The danger is this is an attack on America's elections. And I've said it before. Elections in this country, they keep this democracy alive. Elections in this country, they are the heartbeat of a representative democracy, right? Without elections, you've got no democracy. You've got no representative democracy. Without the people believing in our elections, without the people accepting the results of our elections, our democracy dies. The heart stops beating. So it's one thing, and it's eminently sad that my former party is a party of liars and sore losers. But for the sake of our democracy, this is really dangerous shit. And no matter what happens in the midterms this year, Donald Trump, the president, and much of the Republican Party, his party, ain't going to accept the results of the 2026 midterms. This will happen again. It's a full-on attack. I say publicly every day, Donald Trump is an enemy of this country. Donald Trump is America's enemy. And if you don't like me saying that, like I'll hear from Republicans and conservatives who don't like Trump, but man, Joe, you're going too far when you say Trump is America's enemy. When you say Trump is a traitor to this country, Joe, you're going too far. Fuck that. And respectfully, fuck you. You attack our elections. You try to stop democracy's heart from beating. You are our enemy. You are a traitor to this country. And now he's got a whole party, his whole party, doing the same. HopeNotFearProject.org. It's right there. HopeNotFearProject.org. Check it out. Every 2 weeks, I'm traveling the country and I'm putting people in rooms who disagree. People in rooms from far right to far left who disagree. And I'm telling them all, you got to passionately believe what you believe. And you come into this room, I don't want you to give up what you passionately believe. I just want you to learn to listen to, and understand the people who disagree with you. I never give up what I believe, what I passionately believe, but I'm learning to listen to all sides. HopeNotFearProject.org. We film the conversations and we put them up for everybody to see. Go to our website, check out some of our more recent conversations. Hey, you want to shoot me an email? Do an email about anything. The Social Contract with Joe Walsh at gmail.com. It's all one word, The Social Contract with Joe Walsh at gmail.com. Thanks for living. Thanks for living, everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good Monday. Let's get your week off to a good start. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, follow, and share The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple, Spotify. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to The Social Contract on Substack. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.